lights are gonna find me.
What can I say? Hi everyone, welcome to a special weekend, and this time it is Abba. And it's been quite a long time since I did any Abba listening, because as we know, it kind of borders on the whole classic rock, but this is a good time to enjoy a bit of Abba again. So today's song is going to be Super Trouper. I understand that it's from 1980. It was a big hit worldwide, and the title is the name of a brand of follow spot used at big performance venues. So this is going to be interesting. Let's see how it sounds.
Super Trouper, beams are gonna blind me, but I won't feel blue like I always do, 'cause somewhere in the crowd there's you.
Okay. I have to stop this. I don't want to stop this, but I have to stop this because otherwise I'll just sit here with a grin on my face the whole way through and I won't say a word. All right, that opening. A cappella. Women's voices. And the melody. I guess I have talked about this practically every time I've listened to an Abba song, is the incredible beauty of the melodies they write. And they're not necessarily simple, basic melodies. You know, they have all kinds of details that can be enjoyed about them. But this one, there was another song I listened to, Annie Lennox.
Which one?
I don't remember the name of it.
No More I Love Yous?
But I remember it started up high and just came weaving its way down. The first note, and then came down. The melody was just, and yes, I think it must be No More I Love Yous. Okay, so why did I think of Annie Lennox just now? Because I'm thinking of the melodic shapes, and I'm hearing things, and this one also has a really interesting opening compared to a lot of what we hear in songs. It's not very often that a song starts at a high pitch and gradually finds its way downward. We hear melodies start at a higher pitch and then descend, but usually it's in a sort of, that descent often conveys sadness or other more melancholy moods. If you see my Annie Lennox No More I Love Yous first listen, you will see how taken I was by that unusual melodic shape and her voice, of course. Here I find myself again encountering another one which has a fairly unusual melodic shape to open a piece.
Super Trouper, beams are gonna blind me.
Maybe not quite so strikingly unusual, because it doesn't just continually snake its way downwards. Super Trouper, beams are gonna blind me, and but we still start fairly high in pitch.
Super Trouper beams are gonna blind me, but I won't feel blue.
And this somehow, I don't know if it's just because it's such a beautifully shaped melody and beautifully sung. I don't know if it's the a cappella female harmony, or if it's true that I am hearing echoes of some other song. I mean, I could sing it as if I've known it all my life.
Is that good?
And I don't know if it's because I've known something similar all my life and I'm just not recalling it right now, or if, as Vlad said, it's simply that good and feels that natural to just our ears.
Super Trouper beams are gonna blind me, but I won't feel blue like I always do, 'cause somewhere in the crowd there's
And it's a nice entrance too. Of course, we could say, sure, it's perfectly timed to set at just the right moment, right on you. I'm still thinking about this melody and the harmonies and the way they take some appoggiatures and lean into them and find their way through. It's lovely. It's lovely. But let's just keep going. Back up and hear this entrance here again.
'cause somewhere in the crowd there's
The way that cymbal is the first sound. Usually, I don't know if I should say usually, but often the first sound I hear when instruments enter is okay, it could be piano, it could be drums, but usually I don't think of the cymbal crash as being the first thing. And then there's it could be guitar, but here it's kind of like a whole little sparkle of recognition right on the word you. I'm thinking of this Super Trouper beams, it's the spotlight that's following you around on the stage, and somewhere in the crowd there's you. Well, let's see. It's this moment of I'm looking out at a sea of faces, and suddenly I see the one that I want to see. I don't care about everybody else, but there is the one that is special. And it's like, everything comes alive, and suddenly I feel invigorated, and it changes the whole mood of what I have to present here. And somehow that little cymbal crash and the tumbling in of the piano and the other percussive instruments here, it just kind of tumbles in. You see now here it's not starting super. Now it's I was sick and we're starting lower. Ya da 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 da. Different direction the melody is traveling.
I was sick and tired of everything when I called you last night from Glasgow. All I do is sit and sleep and sing, wishing every show was the last show.
And now the chorus comes in.
Imagine I was glad to hear you coming. Suddenly I feel alright, and suddenly it's coming. And it's gonna be so different when I'm on the stage tonight is super.
And when it says tonight, is that guitar in the background that takes that note and sings it out a bit longer. I'm enjoying also the way that they are using the solo voice with the harmonized voices. And since it starts with this chorus, a cappella chorus, and then only when we get to the verse, I was sick and tired of everything, does the solo voice come in. And it comes in a bit lower in pitch. It makes that kind of a sort of, I don't know, it feels a bit more intimate and there's a warmth to it. It also feels a bit confessional. In other words, I don't want to admit this even to myself. I'm on tour and I am living the dream. I'm performing. I'm playing for people, and I'm sharing my music and my passions. But there's this feeling of this. It's sort of a moment of confession. I was sick and tired of everything when you called last night from Glasgow. All I do is eat and sleep and sing, wishing every show was the last show. It's not just the fact that I want to be with you, but there's this tiredness, this fatigue with being on tour. One of the things that I've noticed with the small amount of Abba that I've listened to date is that their music and their lyrics especially are so autobiographical, and they feel so immediate. And at the same time, it doesn't feel really like self-absorbed. They've managed to really hit the target in being open to the world through their lyrics and their music, and at the same time, not making it all about themselves. At least that's how I feel it in the music.
That's because the group members, 2 guys and 2 ladies,
Yeah.
they were lovers.
I know, and then you told me, of course, the whole breakup period as well. Well, as you know, I haven't listened to a lot of ABBA music, but still, something like this, it feels so fresh, so like it's happening in that moment. The sort of genuine, autobiographical, confessional. This is how I feel. All I do is eat and sleep and sing. Just think about that line. All I do is eat and sleep and sing. How simple is it? Linguistically, expression-wise. All I do is eat and sleep and sing. And yet, in this musical setting, in this flow of everything, it just takes on a life of its own.
Suddenly it's coming, and it's gonna be so different when I'm on the stage tonight.
Now it's going to be different because you're coming.
Like a super trooper,
I like this.
lights are
Super
gonna find me shining
and the guitar, the bass. This is great. This is great what's happening here. So again, the way that they are coordinating the voices with the language, and they picked up this super trooper. You know, it's so fun. And then they use the bass to really enhance that. We don't hear the bass doing this up until now. And it comes just at the right moment.
And suddenly it's coming, and it's gonna be so different when I'm on the stage tonight.
There's that guitar note.
Like a super trooper, lights are gonna find me shining like the sun, smiling, having fun, feeling like a number one. Like a super trooper, beams are gonna blind me, but I won't feel true, like I always do. But somewhere in the crowd there's you.
Okay, hold on. So this is the same chorus that opened the piece, but now it's got all this extra stuff in it. And there's so much happening. It's a bit tricky for me to pick it out, even with my experience with choral singing. But I feel like there are more than just female voices here. Somehow I feel like it might be 3-4 part. There's probably a tenor at least, maybe even a bass in there. And the blend is so smooth. And I guess the thing that makes it hard for me to identify exactly how many voices, how many parts harmony, is because, again, that bass, da-da-dum, bum, bum, da-da-dum, bum, bum, it's kind of interfering with the lower voices and confusing my ears. So I can't quite pick out, okay, is that is that a bass voice or is that the guitar? But it's a lot of fun.
Like the super trooper beams are gonna blind me, but I won't feel true.
There it is. I could hear the men's voices down there.
Somewhere in the crowd there's you.
Oh, interesting. Okay, get this. Dun dun bum 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 bum. I'm noticing that in contrast to the bass. Da da dum bum bum da da dum bum bum dum bum 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 bum. It's kind of the opposite and half the tempo. Da da dum bum bum da da dum bum bum da da dum bum bum dum bum 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 da dum bum 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 bum. So you've got this nice. These are the just details of things that make the music what it is and make it work so well. This mirror image, this longer and more condensed version of a similar figure flipped on its head. Details like this that make the music so cohesive.
Facing 20,000 of your friends, how can anyone be so lonely? Part of a success that never ends. Still I'm thinking about you only. There are moments when I think I'm going crazy, but it's gonna be alright. Everything will be so different when I'm on the stage tonight. Tonight the super trooper lights are gonna find me.
What can I say?
Shining like the sun, smiling, having fun, feeling like a number one. Tonight the super trooper beams are gonna blind me, but I won't feel true, like I always do. Somewhere in the crowd there's you. So I'll be there when you arrive. The sight of you will prove to me I'm still alive. And when you take me in your arms and hold me tight, I know it's gonna mean so much tonight. Tonight the super trooper lights are gonna find me, shining like the sun, smiling, having fun, feeling like a number one. Tonight the super trooper beams are gonna blind me, but
Okay, I gotta stop. Okay, so it's a famous piece from a famous show, Les Miserables, A Dream to Dream. I dreamed a dream, da 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 da. Okay, so
somewhere in the crowd there's you. So I'll be there when you arrive. The sight of you will prove to me I'm still alive. And when
do you hear the common ground there? I dreamed a dream, da 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 da. Listen.
there's you. So I'll be there when you arrive. The sight of you will prove to me I'm still alive. And when you take me in your arms and hold me.
So it's similar, but of course it's different too. And this one, well, of course. Oh, with that other song, it's all about the opportunities that it dreamed of and then builds up to the great climax of life destroyed that dream, right? But here, we start with the same warmth and the same feeling of, possibilities. And then, rather than going on and going on, these dreams, and instead, we hear it wrap its arms around us, so to speak.
There's you. So I'll be there when you arrive. The sight of you will prove to me I'm still alive. And when you take me in your arms and hold me tight,
You see how
I know
it
it's gonna
down.
mean so much to you now. Like a super
And then here we go.
trooper, lights are gonna find.
Notice, there is no percussion. There are no instruments. The only thing, and this is interesting to me because it caught my ear the first time that everybody came in. The only thing there, other than the a cappella voices, is that bass doing its little dance.
In the crowd, there's you. So I'll be there when you arrive.
Have to wait till we
The
get
sight
there.
of you will prove to me I'm still alive. And when you take me in your arms and hold me tight, I know it's gonna mean so much to you now.
Just listen to how the instruments drop out, and it's done so well. We don't miss them. We don't feel like there's a hole. Instead, it just sounds great.
I know it's gonna mean so much to you now. Like a super trooper, lights are gonna find me.
Okay, so here's what happens. You've got the drums, you've got the guitar, you've got all the other instruments doing their wonderful thing, and you've got the solo voice. How did they make that transition so smooth? Well, it didn't happen by chance. It has been building up to this point all the way from the beginning. Because we had the a cappella at the very beginning, okay? So that's not brand new. It doesn't shock our ears, although we appreciate it as something beautiful when it comes back here. Secondly, the next time it comes around, it's with that bass and with that's where the super trooper, which is fun earlier on. Now it becomes the critical element to transition from the instrumental percussion, and now it takes over the role of providing rhythmic interest, filling the role of the drums here when we don't have any other instruments. And then, of course, the bass, because it's such a distinctive part, continues. So the bass, oh, and I almost forgot. It goes from solo voice to voices in harmony, choral type, chorus voices. And so that takes over, those harmonizing voices take over the role that the instruments had when it was the solo voice. It's done so well that we really don't hear a gap or any sort of interruption or lack of anything. It just shifts and one takes over the role of the other, and we end up in this beautiful little moment. Is everything?
Like a super trooper,
Choruses.
lights are gonna find me, shining like the sun, smiling, having fun, feeling like a number one. Tonight the super trooper.
Okay, and as I'm listening to this bass, or what I'm calling the bass, it may not actually be a bass guitar. It could be a synth that's giving the bass, or it could be some of each. I'm using the term bass more in the bass line, the role that's being filled. So I'm not going to obsess over whether it's synth or guitar or anything else. But let's just enjoy this for a minute once more. I know, I like it. Such a great transition.
Super trooper, lights are gonna find me, shining like the sun, smiling, having fun. feeling like a number one. Tonight the super.
There is, the more I'm listening to it, there is something still in the background, which it's hard to say. Again, is it the chorus voices set in the back, or is it synth, or what is it? Doesn't matter. It's essentially a cappella with a bass line, and the blend is just fabulous. Okay, and then, of course, we come back around to the same thing with everybody all together.
Having fun, feeling like a number one. Tonight the super trooper beams are gonna blind me, but I won't feel super.
And all the, what I call the sparkly percussion,
Always true.
chimey stuff.
Somewhere in the crowd there's soon. Lights are gonna find me, shining like the sun. Smiling, having fun, feeling like a super trooper. Dreams are gonna blind me, but I won't feel true.
Yeah, and what do you do at the end of a piece like that where the chorus is just so singable and so great? And how else do you get out of it other than fade out? So first of all, I can pretty much guarantee you this is going to be on my playlist for a good long time. And it will come back around as part of my playlist series. But a few more things before I wrap up for the day. The Abba that I've listened to, very often I've talked about the inherent quality of melancholy that I hear in the solo voices. This is one which actually doesn't strike me as having so much of that depth of sadness in there. It is very much a more happier, vibrant sounding piece. And all the way through it, it's interesting to me. Okay, Super Trouper. Talk about spotlights on stage. What a topic, right? It's interesting to me. I said they make it biographical. But here's what happens. It starts out sort of biographical, recognizable, personal, confessional. And then, through this magical mix of music and lyrics and voices and everything else that's part of this piece of music, it becomes so much more than that. It becomes a recognition of the absolute delight and happiness and the way the whole world changes when you find yourself with, or even in the vicinity of, somebody who means an incredible great deal to you. Somebody who just makes your world a better place. It could be your lover, or it could be just an amazing friend. You know, maybe even your sister. It doesn't matter. Although I tend towards more of the lover's perspective, because towards the end I mentioned, you know, I like to just lump it all together as sparkly instruments, you know, the chimey stuff up high. And yes, I have heard enough Abba to know that it's not specific to this song. It's part of their standard instrumental blend. But here, the way it's being used, it gives you that sort of, you know, sparking, coming alive feeling that happens when the chemistry is just right. And this is all about, well, it becomes about how the world changes when you find that just right person. It becomes about the eagerness to meet and be with that just right person. But by the end, it's just about how incredibly happy I am to be with that just right person. It doesn't matter where I am, what I'm doing, what was going on before. And that is why, even though there is such a lot of genuine, natural, honest real life experience from the band themselves. It also is something that we instantly connect to. And so many people connect to, because they take that and they turn it into something far more universal than just their particular story of, I was giving a concert and I was facing these. Oh, before I forget, there was a line I liked. Somewhere in the crowd there's you, facing 20,000 of your friends. How can anyone be so lonely? That line, 20,000 of your friends. In other words, it's not just fans. You do relate to all these people who are passionate about what you're doing as friends in a way. How can anyone be so lonely? Part of a success that never ends. It's an acknowledgement of, I am living the dream life. How can I feel so lonely? Still, I'm thinking about you only. There are moments when I think I'm going crazy, but it's going to be all right. Everything will be so different when I'm on the stage tonight. Tonight, the Super Trouper lights are going to find me shining like the sun, smiling, having fun, feeling like number one. They were number one before. They had 20,000 people just adoring them. But no, it takes one special person to make you feel like number one. And so it's about that one special person, but it's also about the fact that I am just alive. And I just feel amazing because here I am, and I am truly number one, and I feel it. And it's a great piece of music. That's all I can say. And it's fun, uplifting, upbeat, happy, everything reflected in it that should come out in that sort of scenario, right? Anyway, this has been a lot of fun. That was Super Trouper by Abba, and this is part of a special weekend, and so tomorrow I will be back to hear something else. We'll see what it is then. I'll see you soon.